Gang. So those of you on Instagram, I'm going to do this live for about 5 to 10 minutes on my Instagram, and then I'm going to be switching over to Carbon Diet Coach. So if you want to keep following it, after I drop off Instagram, you can head on over to Carbon Diet Coach, and I'll be continuing it over there. Ian, you just signed up for Carbon today. Love hearing that. Thank you very much, man. For those of you who are not familiar with Carbon, Carbon is our app that is $10 a month at max. Actually, you can get it for less than that if you buy a longer period of time. That does customized nutritional coaching for $10 a month, a fraction of the normal price of what you would pay for an online coach. So pretty cool shit. But in the meantime, y'all got any questions? Drop them to me. I would love to help you out, whether it be with Carbon or just any questions you have. I would love to help in any way I can. So, oh wow, they got back quick. That was quick. I'm doing it live, yeah. Sorry, honey. I was trying to do it while you're gone. Yeah, so for those who don't know, we're on vacation actually, but I forgot to do a live on Friday that I was supposed to do, so here I am. But I love you all, so here I am doing it on vacation because I love you guys. What's up, Kirk? Nice to see you. What Craig says, what results can you expect body comp wise if you are at maintenance and smashing it in the gym, making strength gains, etc.? So I get a lot of people ask the question, how can I or can I, recomp? Can I gain muscle, lose fat, eating at maintenance? And you can, and there's research that shows you can. However, if you've been training for a long period of time, so the people who can recomp, they fall into kind of one of four categories. Either you're new to training, you're a beginner, and you can lose fat and gain muscle simultaneously. You are on steroids, that changes things as well. You're very overweight or obese, and the rules kind of change when you're overweight or obese because you have so much fat mass that can be muscle sparing. So people who are overweight or obese, they actually lose less lean body mass than people who are lean or average. Free following SIG 10K, I will address that here in a second. Or somebody who has not been on a high protein diet, who switches to a high protein diet, they can recomp, or any combination of those four. But if you're somebody who's been training hard for like 5 years, you've been training hard for 5 years, like the likelihood you're going to recomp when you're already so near your genetic potential is very, very low. And you're better off taking it in sections and doing a dedicated gaining phase and then a dedicated fat loss phase. I can tell you anecdotally, the people I see try to recomp all the time just basically spin their wheels all the time. Okay. You're better off, for the most part, doing dedicated gaining and fat loss phases. And if you do those correctly, you will actually end up getting to your goal faster than if you just tried to recomp the whole way. I have yet to see anybody who has built a truly impressive physique recomping the whole way. Excited for the Bucks game. Yes, see what Brady's got. Okay. Dr. Jason Fung says calorie deficit doesn't work because our body decreases energy expenditure. So that just shows how little Jason Fung knows about physiology. What he's referring to is that when you enter a calorie deficit, your endogenous BMR as well as your non-exercise activity thermogenesis tend to drop. Now, guys, if you're enjoying this, please give me some hearts, give me some likes. It'll help us get seen by more people. So Fung does not understand that calories in and calories out are not independent variables. They are dependent variables. So as you reduce calorie intake, you will reduce calorie output just spontaneously. So you'll actually move less and your endogenous BMR drops a little bit. But when him saying a calorie deficit doesn't work, but try my fasting or my keto, he's still putting people in a calorie deficit. It doesn't function independent of a calorie deficit. That is a complete. This is a bait and switch by him. So he's basically saying, oh, if you don't want to do a calorie deficit, do keto instead. Well, if you lose weight, you were in a calorie deficit regardless. Even if you did it, if you people confuse counting calories with calories in, calories out. That's like saying, I saved money without a budget. Therefore, you don't need to make more money than you spend in order to save money. But that's not true. You need to make more money than you spend to save money. Um, just because you didn't track it with a budget doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. All right, you guys on Instagram who are following me, jump on over to Carbon Diet Coach. So that's at Carbon Diet Coach. And you can watch the rest of this live. Ask me some questions. Thanks, guys. I'll see you over there. All right, my Facebook and Instagram people. Let's see here. Hi, I'm a subscriber. I checked in today with the app and my macros were adjusted, but my diary is still showing last week's macros. I don't see the adjustment until next Sunday, September 20th. I've contacted support, but so far the recommendations haven't solved the issue. So this is an example where I think you have to understand we compartmentalize things. Okay, so I'm not looking at the back end of the app. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of coding that goes into this. It could be a lot of things. It could be something to do with your account. Can you make sure that you're signed into the right account? A lot of people, they'll sign up with, for example, they'll sign up with Google, with the Google email, but through the Google account. Then they'll try to log in again, but they'll log in as, johndoe@gmail.com, not using the Google account, but actually manually entering the email. Those are two different things. Those work on the back end two different ways. So you got to make sure you're signed into the right account. That could be it. But support is going to be able to help you with that way more than I am. That shouldn't happen, and I'm not sure why that's happening. But support's going to be able to help you out with that way more than I am. I can help you with nutrition questions. I just do the logic of the math. I don't code. If I could code, then we would have saved a lot of money. But I can't. Do you ever think about not logging your daily weight when you have a random super high day and you just have to crap it out and don't want to mess with your weekly average? You could do that. But keep in mind, like, you're going to have some random high and low days, and they're probably going to even out. So I recommend logging every day, unless it just messes with your head that much. What's up, IG? Can Synthroid prescription jeopardize my weight gain program? I also do walking at least 4 times a day currently. Any suggestions on what to do, whether I should stay on the same program or change? I mean, if you're still doing enough activity, if you're doing the same level of activity, even if it's a high activity rate, carbon's going to adjust you up macro-wise if you're not gaining the amount of weight that your target is. So, yeah, I think you'll be fine. Hey, would you rather me take this somewhere else? Would you rather me take this somewhere else? No, I was saying, would you rather me take it like upstairs? Okay. No, you guys can still talk. You don't have to be silent. Sorry, so you guys are going to have to deal with it. I'm on vacation doing this live, so just bringing it to you because I love you guys and want to still keep up with our content. So I missed my live on Friday because vacation, but here doing it now. So hopefully that was helpful, Kirk. Great app. Started Carbon on August 23rd, 3 weeks ago. Non-compliant week 1, period week 2, compliant week 3. Down 2 pounds, and today at check-in, the coach said I lost too much weight and increased my carbs and fats by a bit. Help me understand this. 2 pounds in 3 weeks, too much. Well, Lenore, keep in mind that you only had 1 compliant check-in, right? So when the app is looking on the back end, when you put non-compliant, it's not going to take that into account because you weren't compliant. So on the second weigh-in, you were on your period and your weight was artificially inflated. So the app is going to not use that as much because that is not an accurate representation of your weight. So the first compliant non-period check-in you had, you lost 2 pounds. That suggests that if you had been compliant or not had your period, that you would have lost more weight. Therefore, the app detects that your energy expenditure is higher than it predicted, and it's going to lower your macros. Now, keep in mind, the first couple of weeks, there can be a little bit of back and forth with the macros, okay? After 3 to 4 weeks, Carbon is going to have it dead on, okay? So you need to be patient with this process. It's just like if you hired a coach, you lost more weight than you had planned on, the coach would adjust your macros up, but they might adjust it up a little bit too much. And then they have to correct that. So that's the same way with just if you hire a normal coach, you need to be patient. Be patient, be patient, be patient. The coach will get it right. Just give it, if you have at least 4 weeks of compliant check-ins, you will be dead on, I assure you. And thank you for using our app. We really appreciate that. Instagram, you guys got anything for me? Let's see, I see a question. Hang on. Okay, when would you take a more aggressive approach rather than the conservative one in a reverse diet? Great question. So when would I be more aggressive compared to conservative on a reverse diet? So the first thing would be, for example, if somebody was having a lot of perturbations of mood, they were ravenously hungry all the time, no sex drive, it was impeding their everyday life, by quite a bit, I would be more aggressive. Also, for people who do contest prep, I used to be more conservative, and now I actually think the people who have done contest prep need to get out of that extreme deficit pretty quick, because by the end of prep, you're just not in a good place, and it's very difficult to get past that, and it's usually really hard to get past that doing a conservative reverse. So I'm not saying somebody has to put on a lot of body fat, but usually what I will do recently, I've only got a few clients left, is I'll jump them straight up to maintenance, their actual maintenance, and then usually add like 10 to 20% to that. And I want them to gain back, maybe like 1-2% of their body weight in the first couple of weeks. And then that tends to get them started on a better flow. Because again, if you're trying to do a conservative reverse and your hormonal signals and your hunger signals are all whacked out, it's just not going to be good, and you're just going to feel like shit for a long period of time. Facebook, YouTube, give us some likes, give us some hearts. It'll help us get seen by more people. In week 12 of using Carbon, and I've lost 36 pounds. Damn. Awesome, man. Should I go into maintenance on vacation next week? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Give yourself, it's good to go into maintenance periods of maintenance anyway. So give yourself a little bit of, not reward because you're not a dog. Don't reward yourself with food, but give yourself a little more flexibility for your trip. Absolutely. Cut my question off. What's the final word on dealing with creatine in the app? Should I mark compliant and deal with the calorie decrease, or be non-compliant? So this is something where I talk about where I'm not a fan of gaming the system. Like you guys get way too concerned about one check-in. Look at the totality of the check-ins, okay? Let's say you go on creatine and you gain some weight and the app lowers your calories. Well, guess what? The next week, when you don't gain weight or you actually lose some weight, or the weeks after that, okay, so let's play this out. The app's going to lower your calories. Once the initial water weight from the creatine subsides, you'll lose some weight because your calories will be lower, or you won't gain weight as much as you should have. And the app will then raise your calories back. So I'm not a big fan of, because if you mark non-compliant that week, the next week when you go check in, your weight's still going to be up. So you can, if you're really worried about either way, it'll work out. But my personal opinion is I mark compliant if I was compliant, and I let the app do its thing. That's just me personally. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but that's what I do. Hi, Dr. Layne. A few questions. Well, I'm going to answer one of them. Can someone build muscle on keto if he's eating in a surplus? Yes, you can build muscle eating keto in a surplus. However, there was a recent study where they looked at people who were resistance training on a ketogenic diet that was equal in protein to a non-ketogenic diet, and they found that those people on the ketogenic diet gained less lean body mass. So it's only one study. I'm not ready to get crazy about it, but based on that, it appears that perhaps ketogenic diet may not be optimal for building as much lean body mass as possible. Fat should be avoided as much as possible during a post-workout meal because it will slow gastric emptying and delay delivery of the nutrients to muscles. Is this BS or true? This is an example of you guys getting stuck in the weeds and just worrying about shit that does not matter. There may be a small amount of truth to that. Yes, fat slows gastric emptying, but if you ate a couple hours before the workout and it's a couple hours after your workout, do you think the food you ate before the workout is just all passed through? Like it doesn't work like that. There's still going to be nutrients available to the body. So yeah, try to not get that far into the weeds. I'm at approximately 12% body fat from 27% thanks to carbon. Wow, that's awesome. After several months of caloric deficit, employing refeeds late in the game, feeling hungry, so I did a week at maintenance, which was amazing. Went back to cut the last 5 pounds, but this week's been kind of rough at times. Wondering if I should employ a 2-week maintenance or reverse. At a certain point, fat loss is going to be tough. I would say maybe do a 2-3 week diet break just to really feel better, and then go in and like really go aggressive on the last 5 pounds to get it off, and then go back to maintenance. That would probably be what I would do personally. Huge fan, Layne. Love the Carbon app. Awesome. Thank you so much. New to Carbon and love it. Any tips on body fat measurements? Caliper's okay if I use only one site. I would do a 3-site personally. That's easy to get to. Anybody can do their own 3-site caliper test. Can I restart my app fresh since I got off track and my initial weight was 10 pounds off? I didn't want the app to think I lost 10 to 15 pounds because I'm lighter now. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, but like you can restart the coach. Just go to settings, coach settings, and then reset coach. But I would only do that if you're okay with it completely getting rid of your previous data. What is an aggressive amount of weight to lose in a week? I would say much more than 1% of your body weight on average is aggressive. Now, when you start a diet, you may lose more than 1% the first couple of weeks. What I'm talking about is over a period of time, say a month or a few months, losing more than 1% per week, I would consider aggressive. I haven't checked in 70 plus days. Okay, well then you could reset the coach. All right, let's see. Love the app. Started 3 weeks ago, down 3.5 pounds and not feeling deprived. Awesome. Okay. Shannon, I'm a previous chronic dieter, but have been better once starting macros a couple years ago and kept off most of my big weight loss. I've been maintaining since January while intuitive eating with the hopes of improving my metabolism and gaining some muscle. I started tracking again and reversing with carbon for 5 weeks now and still seeing a little weight loss, which is exciting at over 2,000 calories a day since I was down to 1,200 calories-ish to see the scale budge last winter. Should I continue with, and then it stops off. I would say continue with the reverse. I think is what you're going to ask. Yes, continue with the reverse. You're building, you're wanting to build muscle. Yeah, continue with the reverse. It'll keep increasing your calories. Eventually, you'll stop losing weight. Yeah, I mean, sounds like everything's going great. What does the coach do after you hit your goal weight? So if you're talking about like fat loss, for example, it will tell you, hey, you hit your goal. Awesome. Now you have the option to continue on fat loss if you want, or you can switch to another goal, and it'll prompt you to do that. Hey guys, if you ask me about individual products, I'm not going to reply about individual products because I've already been served twice this year with cease and desists for talking about companies' products. So yeah, it seems that you are not allowed to. Well, I would probably win in court, but anyone who thinks that you want to just spend six figures trying to defend some shit that you said, um, yeah, it sounds better than it really is after having been through a couple of lawsuits that I won and finding out that there is no gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah, it's a shit show. So, anyways, I will not be answering individual product questions. Will taking creatine increase creatinine levels in the blood? Because a lot of physicians are saying that I'll impair kidney function over time. Fortunately, we have a physician right here. Uh, um, so this is an example of some doctors and nurses who get hung up on a indicator measure that is not causative. If you have kidney failure, you will have high levels of creatinine. But just because you have high levels of creatinine does not mean you have kidney failure, okay, or kidney disease. Creatine is the most studied supplement, maybe other than caffeine, in the history of man, and it has been shown to be extremely safe. We've had people taking it for decades now. It does not damage a healthy kidney. Let's just put that to bed. Layne, you said carbs can blunt fat loss. Does this mean keto in a calorie deficit is better than not? You misunderstood what I said. Carbohydrates cause insulin secretion. Insulin secretion blunts lipolysis and also decreases fat oxidation. That is not the same thing as body fat loss. You're looking, instead of looking at a forest, you have run up right next to the tree and put a microscope on the bark, and you're saying that you can't see leaves. So let me give you a quick rundown here. And I talk about this like for like several pages in Fat Loss Forever because this is so misunderstood. Fat oxidation or fat burning is not the same thing as fat loss, okay? Whether or not you lose body fat is a balance between the amount of fat you store versus the amount of fat you burn, okay? Yes, insulin will decrease the amount of fat you burn. But if you are on a high carbohydrate diet, or let's go back, carbohydrates in normal circumstances aren't stored as fat. In fact, they did overfeeding studies where they showed that over 98% of the fat you store in adipose comes from the dietary fat you eat. Less than 2% of the amount of fat you store in adipose tissue is from carbohydrate. Now, what carbohydrate does is increase insulin, which causes you to burn less fat. But because you're eating more carbohydrate, you're also storing less fat. If you eat a high-fat ketogenic diet, you burn more fat because you have more fat to burn. You also store more fat. The balance between fat storage and fat burning will equal whether or not you gain or lose body fat, and that is completely dependent on energy balance. How many calories you're taking in versus how many calories you are burning. So no, keto is not superior. And in fact, if anything, based on Kevin Hall's meta-analysis from 2018, which summarized the results of over 30 papers where protein and calories are equated, showed that actually low-fat diets had a small, slight advantage in body fat loss over low-carb diets. Now, it was a very small advantage, and I don't think it's really meaningful. So what that says is it's great because you can choose what you prefer. You can do high carb, you can do low carb, you can do balanced. If you get enough protein and you're controlling your calories, that is what matters. Don't get so focused on the tree bark that you can't see the damn forest. You like that? Hopefully see you on the Joe Rogan podcast again. Thank you. I would love to be on again. Hey guys, just looking for some questions really quick. You sure about that, Layne? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But you're welcome. Can you back that up? Yeah, I just cited a meta-analysis. How many studies would you like? I want to go to school for nutrition, but not sure where to start. Career differences from a nutrition dietitian, someone like yourself who had a PhD in biochemistry. My PhD is nutritional science. My bachelor's is in biochemistry. It depends on what you want to do. I would not recommend becoming a dietitian unless you really want to work in clinical stuff. Otherwise, I think you're probably better off going and doing a master's or PhD in nutritional science. Thank you so much, Layne. Appreciate the answer. You should clip this as a vid for your channel. I've actually talked about this on my channel multiple times. People just don't listen. Love the content. Thank you, Scott. Hey, Layne, I was on fat loss mode for 4 months and lost 3 kilos, but my calories were below 1,200 calories. A week ago, decided to switch to maintenance. I still have 2 kilograms to lose. How long do you recommend staying in maintenance before going back to fat loss? At least 2 weeks, I would do. At least 2 weeks. What does it take to be a successful fitness coach? Steph, you still want me to back it up? You want any more studies? All right, what does it take to be a successful fitness coach? Well, the first thing is you have to have an audience. Whatever you want to sell, whether it's yourself, whether it's an app, whether it's a book, whether it's fitness programs, you have to have an audience. To build that audience, it takes a lot of time unless you're willing to bullshit people or somehow you just go viral. So many of you probably just found out me in the last couple of years. I have been in the fitness industry since 2001. 2002. I wrote my first article for bodybuilding.com back in 2002. Did my first video series for bodybuilding.com back in 2007. I competed in bodybuilding, powerlifting during that time. I was doing my PhD from 2004 to 2010. I have won, natural bodybuilding competitions. I made over 100,000 posts on various bodybuilding message boards, wrote hundreds of articles for free, did hundreds of videos for free, and answered, I estimate, 250,000 emails over about a 15-year period for free, not expecting anything back. And then I put up free content. For the most part, all my content is free every single day on Instagram, Facebook, that kind of stuff. So when you ask me what it takes to be a successful coach, well, if you want to be able to reach a lot of people, that's what it takes. Oh, by the way, I did all that while competing and doing my PhD. So, yeah, unless a man takes on more than he can possibly do, he will never do all he possibly can. Been taking betaine and hydrous based on Holly's post, but I'm not sure if it's working. I'm doing 5x5. What should I be looking for? Are there any side effects? There shouldn't be any side effects. We see a little bit better power output. We see possible strength gains, maybe, and possible small amount of lean body mass gains. But guys, any supplement, you're not going to see massive differences. That's just not a reasonable expectation for supplements. I'm still waiting for Steph to get back to me about what she wants to disagree with me about regarding carbohydrates and fats. The high-quality multivitamin and omega-3 I've always taken to keep getting more expensive and harder to find in stock. Would it be okay to stop taking them? With help of fat loss forever and now carbon, I've met all my goals. Lost 100 plus pounds. Babe, you hear that? I had no problems keeping it off, and I have no other health issues. That's awesome, Derek. So, yeah, you can stop taking the omega-3s. I mean, it's not going to like kill your gains or anything, or losses, depending on what you term. I'm not a dick. Yeah, so I mean, the omega-3 has some benefits for blood lipids and that kind of stuff. Is it going to make a massive difference to you? No. But I would look to see if you could find maybe another company that has some omega-3 that's a little bit less expensive. Now here come the love hearts because my wife's in the background. You wanna take one, babe?
Hello, hello. Hey guys. Yeah, I just want to skin around your stomach after having a baby. That is probably going to take time. Obviously, you just had a baby, so getting your skin tactile gets back takes some time. But one of the things I think you can really start to focus on now is rebuilding your abdominal cavity and your strength. Some of the exercises that I recommend are the pile-off press. You can look that up. There's plenty of tutorials. I think there's an example on the Workout Builder. Anything that's kind of anti-rotational transverse abdominals. I think a lot of people tend to focus.
Ooh, talk dirty to me.
I think a lot of people tend to focus on the superficial, like rectus abdominis, so the muscle that kind of sits, visible. But if you can start to work on your transverse abdominals, that would be really good. So that's, my favorite exercise is the pile-off press. And also probably starting to work on incorporating some weighted abdominal movements. I think people kind of just stick to body weight exercises, but if you're trying to build that muscle, it needs to be trained and progressively overloaded like any muscles. So, if you're starting off with some, knee tucks, like Roman chairs, try to progress towards like putting some ankle weights around your ankles to kind of progress that movement. So a lot of us tend to have really superficial low, like what do you call it, where your tendons aren't very deep. So you don't have a lot of visible ab structure. For those folks, like you need to build out that muscle. So it might require a little bit more work. Ollie is jacked, contest ready. Hell no.
Take the compliment.
No, I'm definitely not contest ready. I am relaxing.
A few different questions came up. I meant using beta-alanine. What is your mind of it? I think beta-alanine, probably not helpful for powerlifters or people doing low reps, but probably very helpful for people who are like doing high intensity interval training, or if you do higher rep sets, like above, like to take more than 45 seconds. That's where beta-alanine seems to really shine.
Vacation for a few weeks, for a few days, and gained 10 pounds. Hey, it's probably similar to what I've just said.
No, it's not.
No.
Stop it.
Should I reset my coach carbon or continue where I left off? So you obviously you've been away, you've enjoyed yourself, had some good food.
Can I just chime into something simple real quick?
What?
First off, a lot of that's probably water.
Yeah.
So give it a week before you decide to do anything, because you'll probably get off most of it if you're consistent. Sorry, go ahead now.
I would just go back to where you left off. If you have been eating in a small surplus, sure, you might have put on a really small amount of body fat. Like Layne said, if you're eating more carbohydrates, you're going to be storing more glycogen, more water. You're going to probably look a little fluffier as well because of that. But if you go back to your targets from pre-holiday, you will probably get back to where you were. It just might take a week or two. So just be patient.
This is so weird. You're mirrored. Isn't that weird? See that? You're on this side of me here, and you're on this side of me here.
Well, it's because this one's real. That one's
don't understand. Anyway, good answer, babe. Good answer. Let's see. What's your advice when going on vacation? You can't track calories, body weight, or lift. I've been reversing for 7 weeks and getting increases every week. Maybe just stick it on maintenance for a week, and then just do your best for tracking. Like, if you're reasonable and you make reasonable choices, you're not going to gain 10 pounds in a week. You just have to be reasonable and listen to your satiety signals. Ken, what's that, babe? Oh, I thought you already did did you do a walk first? Oh, okay. Now you're gonna do your hip workout? Okay, all right. Well, I'll be done with all my work stuff that I need to do by the time you get back. Okay? It's not even Florida.
In a very long time. Bye.
Don't feel bad for them. Don't you dare feel bad for them. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this, please give us some hearts, give us some likes. It helps us get seen by more people. Plus, I'm actually missing out on the first weekend of NFL football right now on vacation to bring this, guys, live to you because I love you so much and because I would love it if you downloaded our app and gave us your money. Just being real. Awesome value for the price. Can the $9.99 option work for me and my wife, or do I need to buy two different options? Yeah, you can only have one account per person, or sorry, you can only coach one person per account. Otherwise, guys, it's $10. It's $10. Sorry, but we have to make money. You guys probably don't know this, but you're probably like, oh, well, they have all these members and it's $10 a member, and then you do the math, and it's like, no. So Apple and Google Play take 30% right off the top. 30% of what you guys pay us, we never even see. Okay? So that's 30% right off the top. Then we have to pay support staff. We have to pay developers. So all that stuff means that by the time you're sending us your dollars, we might see a couple bucks out of that. So no, it's only one account per person. How does carbon handle enhanced athletes? Well, unpopular opinion, enhanced doesn't really change things as much as people like. Everyone wants to feel like they're fucking unicorns. They're like, oh, well, I'm a female. Like, I get that all the time. Somebody just asked, oh, should diets need to be fundamentally different for females compared to males? And I'm like, all right, okay, I feel a rant incoming. Everyone wants to feel like a fucking unicorn and be like, okay, well, that's great for men, but I'm a woman. You mean like 50% of people out there and you suddenly think your physiology is that different? No. Okay. Listen, if you're female, you have less lean body mass on average than males. You have less total fat mass on average than males. It doesn't change things that much. If you're on steroids, you might have more lean body mass comparatively than somebody, all things being equal. So that means if you have more lean body mass, you probably have total greater energy expenditure. The app is going to sense that based on what happens with your weight compared to your calorie intake and adjust them anyway. So, I get this all the time. Well, I'm on thyroid medication. Well, I'm breastfeeding. Well, I'm this. Well, I'm that. Well, you're not a unicorn. I promise you. The app is functioning based off of what is your calorie intake and what happened with your body weight. And it uses that over time to come up with a very accurate prediction of what your daily energy expenditure is, and then we'll make adjustments based on that daily energy expenditure. I know it's unpopular. I know it doesn't help me sell things because people like to feel special. And when you can tailor something to people that feels special, people eat it up. That's why there's these protein companies out there that sell protein powders for her. What the fuck are you even talking about? How is a protein for her? You mean if I take it, it's not going to work for me? No, they didn't do shit to that protein. The only difference is they slapped a little bit of pink on the label and called it for her, and it's nothing more than an absolute fucking money grab. And we are just not willing to do that kind of shit. We're not going to come up with carbon for her or a specialized setting for females because it's just fucking bullshit, and we're not full of crap. Sorry. I wish I could be full of shit because I'd sell more stuff and I could live in a house like this 24/7 on the beach. But I'm not, and we're not going to do that. And we just believe that we can sell this thing based on merit, not on bullshit. Hey, Layne, using the app for the last 3 months, it's awesome, and the results have been great. I've been on a cut since the 1st of June. So far, I lost 17 kilograms, or about 40 pounds. Wow. Wow. Dropping consistently weekly. My goal is still the same, but this week my circumstances changed because I went from natural to drug enhanced. Subsequently, my weight increased 2.6 kilograms over the 7 days. I know it's probably water, but the app adjusted my calories and dropped them significantly due to the weight. Oh, so this is a good question. So what's going to happen is it dropped them. So your weight went up, it dropped them. But what's going to happen is that weight is mostly just water. Okay. Steroids cause you to put on more body water. The app dropped your calories. What's going to happen is you're going to lose more fat now because of the reduction in calories. And so you're going to lose more fat than the app predicted, and it's going to bring your calories back up. So I would just ride it out, and you'll be fine. Let's see here. I see a lot of crying eyes. You've really encouraged me to pursue a master's or PhD in nutritional sciences. Going to look into it soon along with your course. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. App Store is a fucking joke. Well, I mean, you can get mad at Apple and Google or whatever, but I mean, they built the platform, right? Without their platform, we wouldn't be able to sell. I mean, we wouldn't be able to reach as much people and whatnot. They also provide some stuff with, like refunds, and they handle all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, hey, they built the platform, right? We don't have to use it. Thumb looks sore. Yeah, that's that right there, guys. That is from hook gripping deadlift. So that's actually a blood blister. So hook grip. Most people, when they grab a barbell, they grab it like this, right? So when I deadlift, my thumb goes around the bar and I put my fingers around my thumb. It's a very secure grip, but it also jacks your thumbs up sometimes. So that's actually bleeding under the skin. Carbon diet coach for coaches and their clients, something like iNutrition Pro from Australia. That's definitely something we've talked about, like having a coaching interface for Carbon. But right now, we are focused on making it the best consumer-based product there is. So the problem is, I think, and I honestly, like, same for me, I had no idea everything that went into coding. Like, guys, to code the app that we have, it's like well over a year. Like, and we had 2 developers who were business partners in this, and yeah, it took them well over a year to do this stuff. Like, it just takes a long time, guys. It takes a long time. So doing something like that may sound very simple. I can tell you that's probably another year's worth of work. So it is something we'd like to do, but it's just going to take time. Like, all this stuff takes time. And also, we're trying to upgrade the current app we have. Like, our app looks so nice and it's so easy to use. It's like, it kicks MyFitnessPal in the teeth and most of these other apps in terms of ease of use and user interface and experience and all that kind of stuff. So people think we're a big company because it looks like a big company app. We're 5 people. So we're doing the best we can, right? Like, MyFitnessPal, the CEO of MyFitnessPal is not doing lives about MyFitnessPal, right? Like, we are, because it's just, we're a small company. This is what we do, right? We want to become a really big company, and hopefully we'll have tons of employees and whatnot that can do this for us, or do the coding for us and that kind of stuff, and we can start to advance more rapidly. But we need the capital to do that. That just takes time, and we don't want to go into debt to do it. Is your nutrition course timed or completed your own pace? So you're referring to the Science of Nutrition, which is one of my online courses that's available right now. So you guys, if you ever want to take a course from me, you just type in Layne Norton, the Science of Nutrition, and I have a short course, about 15 to 20 hours, with Clean Health Fitness Institute that is really, really, really exceptional. We have nothing but 5-star ratings on Google. It's complete at your own pace. It's written that it's entertaining. It's educational. You won't regret it. You guys will love it. Any future plans on integrating with Apple Health or other fitness trackers? Maybe. Oh, thanks, Nelly. This is the best app ever. I can't wait for check-in days. It's a life changer. Awesome. Does Carbon implement diet breaks if you stall with weight loss? We currently don't. We're going to work after we get this next batch of updates done. There's some fundamental housekeeping stuff we need to get done with the app. Once that's done, one of the things we are going to work on is an algorithm that will basically know when to suggest a diet break. But we don't want to force people into diet breaks because we just don't think that's the best way to do it. So it'll suggest a diet break in certain circumstances. I'm new to Carbon app. Is there an option to input current macros to start a reverse? So if you do custom macros, it will turn the coach off. However, when you're in the sign-up flow, it will ask you if you know your current maintenance calories. And if you know your current maintenance calories, you can enter that during sign-up, and the app will use that as opposed to you calculating your estimated energy expenditure from scratch. Is it possible to comply if you check in early? Yes. Can you send another Carbon user a recipe you made so you both can track it? Not yet. That's something we definitely want to do. Besides the obvious cost advantage, how would a Carbon compare to something to, say, Noom? I'm not super familiar with Noom. I did hear of it. I think Noom is that there's actually, I want to say it was like $90 for 2 months or something like that, or $100 for 2 months, I think is their pricing. So I kind of put them in a different category. And it sounds like they're not as automated as we are, that they actually have like coaches who are kind of checking in with people and sending them messages. So I see those as kind of two different services. Like this is a if you feel pretty comfortable, you don't need a lot of support, like in terms of an actual personal support. I think Carbon is the way to go because it's way cheaper. But if you're somebody you feel like you need a little more personal support, then maybe Noom is helpful for you. But keep in mind, like people who have messaged our support staff who have questions, we have nothing but rave reviews about our support staff, except for one gal who was really nasty. But hey, can't make everybody happy. But for the most part, our support staff is amazing. And if you guys have any questions, just email support@joincarbon.com. They'll get back to you quickly, professionally. Super, super awesome support staff. We have the best. Thanks for answering my question. You're very welcome, Ben. I know you can adjust your days in advance with the calorie planner, but if you blow out your macros unexpectedly, can you adjust future days down? Yes, you can. So if you go to calorie planner, let's say you were scheduled to eat 1,800 calories yesterday and you hit 3,000. Well, what you do is you go in, make sure you lock the days that you've already had since your last check-in. So if your last check-in was, say, Monday, lock Monday, Tuesday, or sorry, back up. Let's say your check-in day was Friday. And you blew out yesterday, Saturday. So lock Friday, and then for Saturday, in the calorie planner, enter the amount of calories you actually ate, then lock it. It will adjust the other remaining days till your next check-in down to compensate for how many calories you actually ate. I've reached out several times for questions, and my questions have been answered so quickly. You guys rock. Thank you. First app I've ever subscribed to. Thank you, Drew. Where did you start working after finishing your PhD? Working for yourself or in a lab? How does that work? Well, I started my business while I was in graduate school. So I started actually coaching people online while I was still in graduate school. So I started doing that in 2005. I started grad school in 2004, started coaching people in 2005. And that was just because I got so many emails from my articles I was writing about people who needed help. I was doing that for free for a long time. Again, what does it take to be a successful coach? And I started my business when really nobody did online coaching, very few people. And then I officially incorporated in 2007, originally in Illinois, where I was doing my PhD. So by the time I graduated in 2010, I'd actually built that into a full-time business and full-time income. So so I just went to work for myself. I've in my entire adult life, I've never worked for anybody else other than myself. Ali says Noom just uses calories, not macros, and the coaches suck. Oh, that's too bad. It does have pretty good ratings on the App Store. I will say that for them. So, maybe you just had a bad experience. Who knows? But Noom sucks and is super expensive. It's not for people who work out or athletes. I think Carbon is way better app and cheaper. I looked at Noom very briefly, and it seemed like a decent setup, but it definitely seemed geared towards rank beginners who don't really know about much about nutrition, and just kind of teaching them lifestyle stuff, right? Which is totally fine. And I think that there's a place for that for sure. So it just depends on what you like, I mean, like some people, people ask us like the difference between our app and RP, a Renaissance periodization. And I've heard really good things about RP's app. I've never used it personally. From what I understand, it's a little more strict, a little more rigid. They give you, eat these foods at these times, but there are some people who need that. But some people prefer more flexibility, and that's where our app comes in and probably has a big advantage over something like RP. So it's just, the great thing is it's a free market. You've got unlimited choices, and you can try out stuff and see what you guys like and what you don't like. Like I'm not offended that somebody might like another app better than ours. I want to make ours the best, by far. But hey, if somebody else has different personality, different needs, different goals, like, hey, there's going to be some people who vibe with other stuff more than they do with ours, and that's okay. It's a big marketplace. We'll be fine. I love the weekly planner. Helps me adjust my weekends to keep me in check and enjoy myself. Lock the day. I must have missed this setting option. So if you go to the calorie planner, open up your app, go to the calorie planner, you will see below each day a lock button. You can unlock or lock days, and you have to do that because if they're unlocked, they will get adjusted. But like, for example, let's say yesterday, if I don't lock that because I already ate it, if I don't lock that and I start adjusting today, it will also adjust yesterday, even though I've already eaten those foods. So you got to make sure you lock the days that you've already had. Will there ever be a manual input of calories feature so we can input what we actually ate? We have that in the calorie planner. Maybe I'm missing something. If I eat less and don't meet my calorie needs, how do I adjust upcoming days to eat them? I didn't understand. Again, let's say you checked in on Wednesday, right? And you overate Saturday. Your next check-in is next Wednesday. So you've got Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday that you can adjust. So what you're going to do, you're going to lock Wednesday, because it's already happened, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, yesterday, you're going to enter in what you actually ate, okay? Then once you enter that in, you're going to lock that day, and the remaining days, today, Monday, Tuesday, will automatically adjust to compensate for what you ate yesterday. But the days you want to adjust, you have to have them unlocked. The days you don't want to adjust, you have to have them locked. How are the macros calculated? Well, that's kind of like asking, what's your secret sauce? Essentially, just to give you a small peek behind the curtain, the way the app works is it determines your total daily energy expenditure, which gives you the amount of calories that you maintain your weight on. Once it has that, we figure out what is the rate of loss or gain that we are choosing, and the user chooses that. From that, we can determine approximately what calorie deficit is needed or calorie surplus, subtract or add that to the maintenance calories. Then we set protein based on lean body mass. Then we set carbohydrate and fat ratio based on diet preference. And that's how the macros are calculated. Why does carbon not incorporate water intake? Does it not have a great effect on weight loss or gain? Water intake is only going to affect weight loss or gain in the short term. If you're weighing in, logging your weight every day, the random fluctuations of water are going to be washed out by that. I took your course and loved it. In your opinion, is it necessary to go to the Masters in Nutritional Science route versus something like your course? Well, again, you're talking about a 15-hour course, 20-hour course, short course, very focused on something, versus a degree. There is no short course that will ever make up for any kind of degree. It depends on what you want. Do you want to coach people and you want a quick thing that can show you how to do stuff? Then the course can be helpful. But you guys got to understand, it's like, do you want to be an expert, or do you just want to have a surface level understanding of stuff, right? I'm not saying that one is bad or not, but it's like, a lot of you guys want a shortcut of how you can get to a level of knowledge that allows you to be really fucking good. Guys, there are no fucking shortcuts, just like there are no fucking shortcuts for losing weight. It's just not how it works. Like, yes, you could take my course. It's great. But like, if you want to be really good, it's like you need a background in this stuff. Like, people who go, well, why do I need math? I'll never use math. No, you will. Like, you need a fundamental, like a scientific degree. It's like if you build a house, okay? You build a house. What you see on the house is the windows, the paints, the paint color, the brick, all that kind of stuff. That's just the dressings. The house does not stand without the foundation. The foundation is a fundamental understanding of the scientific method and science itself. If you don't have that, the house does not stand. Okay? Same comparison. An architect is somebody who is good at art and math, right? They can make the calculations needed to put something together, and they can also draw it and sketch it out. Now, if I take an artist who has a surface level, okay, and ask them to recreate something an architect drew, they can do that. But that's all they can do, is just regurgitate that same thing. They can't make it from scratch because they don't have the mathematical understanding. So that is like taking a course, a short course, which is helpful and you'll understand more, versus having a deep understanding of how something works. I'm digging this lock thing. Maybe a little lock should be at the bottom of each day so it's easier for us. It is. So I'm guessing you haven't looked at the calorie planner if you're making that comment. You sound like somebody rejecting somebody for a job interview in a very nice way. Look, I've hired people who don't have a background in science, but they trained under us for a very long time. But if you want to be an expert, like it depends on what you want. Do you want to be, just kind of coach people one-on-one and be a personal trainer? Do you want to be an online coach? Will you be the best you possibly can? Like, how serious are you with it? Like, how far do you want to take it? If you really want to take it far, in my opinion, you have to come to an advanced degree by default. You really do. Otherwise, how serious are you about expanding your knowledge base? How serious are you? Can you explain on basing protein off lean body mass versus body weight? Sure, of course. So fat mass does not have much protein requirement at all. Lean body mass is what is the protein requiring tissues of your body. And if you do protein based on body weight, what happens is when obese people use the app, they will get like 300-400 grams of protein a day, which is insanity. They don't need that much protein. So that is why we base it off lean body mass. I've used RP and Carbon for a month. I like the RP app, but it's unrealistic and very strict due to it being on a schedule. I got better results and felt better with Carbon, so I use Carbon. So yeah, there you go. Like if you want more flexibility, Carbon's probably what you want. If you like the rigidity, then RP is probably it. I don't see the calorie planner. If you go to your main screen, the main diary screen, and you look at the circles, just to the lower right of that, there's a couple like a bar graph. That is it. So that's where you'll find the calorie planner. Press that. You're welcome. Okay, glad you got it. How did you come up with the name Carbon? So my old supplement company was called Carbon, and we just liked the name. We thought it was cool. It's Carbon's essential for all life. It's cool. Carbon is awesome. Big help with lean bulking. Use it for contest prep as well. Awesome, Peter. Guys, I'm out of here. It's vacation time for me. Been on for an hour. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you like it, please follow us on Instagram, Carbon Diet Coach. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook. Download the app. Give it a try. I think you guys will be really impressed. Really, for $10 a month, you can't do better than Carbon Diet Coach. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And I really appreciate those of you who are signed up to the app. Truly appreciate your business. Thank you so much. If you love the app, also please leave us a review in the App Store. It helps us out a ton. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And welcome back to NFL football for those of us who care. Go Colts, go Bucks. See you guys next week.